Hey up guys, leedsladlovescoins here. Welcome back to the channel. Right, we'll get straight into this. As you can see by the little display in front of me, we're going to be discussing grading, especially grading for beginners. I've been asked several times by subscribers if I could do a video or two on grading and grading standards. So I've decided, yep, I'm going to start. So this particular video will be grading for beginners. Various areas we'll discuss. Then the next video, a follow-up video, will be on technical grading of proof coins. And then we'll do another video on technical grading of circulation coins. So there's 3 videos coming up. I hope you enjoy it. As always, give me a thumbs up and share, subscribe, and tell me what you think. If you think I'm talking a load of rubbish, give me a thumbs down. If you think I'm okay, give me a thumbs up. So just tell me what you reckon. So let's get into it. You'll have to excuse me here because, again, you know, I'm not a professional video maker, if you would, and I don't do any editing. So a lot of this, what I'm going to talk to you, comes second nature to me. I don't have scripts or anything in front of me, so a lot of it just comes off of the top of my head, but I want to do it in a specific order. So number one, the reasons for grading and the reasons for considering grading. I have 4 reasons. If any of you have more, please put them in the comments. Let me know. Tell me what you think. If you agree with what I'm saying, then also let me know. Right, less of the waffle. Let's get into it. So, reasons for considering grading. My number 1 reason is preservation and protection. What do I mean by that? I have coins that hold sentimental value to me, are near and dear to my heart. They're not particularly valuable or anything like that, but I want to protect them and preserve them forever or for the future generations. And so I've had them graded, put into a slab like this. Yeah. So I can handle these. I can look at them as I choose. I can drop it. I'm not going to damage the slab. I'm not going to damage the coin. And that's preservation and protection. My number 1 aim. The second aim is authentication. We all know that especially if you buy off of eBay and other dodgy sites, allegedly dodgy, there's a lot of cheap copies coming in from China. Lots and lots and lots, and you'll be absolutely amazed. So if you have a coin, a valuable coin, it's always best to get it authenticated. So I use the third-party grading services route to authenticate my coins. I'll give you an example right here. So I've got a 1953 proof set, yeah, and it is an absolute beautiful, beautiful, beautiful proof set. In here is, let me just bring that in a bit closer, a half crown with a lovely cameo appearance. Yeah. Now, when we go on to the obverse, we'll discuss technical terms again. I'm going to zoom in a bit closer, because if we look at you see the initials DEI there? So it's de Gras. Have a look at the I there. Let's get a good. And the I is pointing to. Let's get a better view. The I, can you see it there? The I is pointing to the space, not directly over the denticle. The denticle are the little knobs here. Nubs. That's a good view. So the I is pointing to the space. And this variety is a rare variety, and it's known as DEI, I to space. And it's quite a valuable little variety in the 1953 proof set. So that is going for grading, yeah, for authenticating and for the variety attribution to get the DEI to space. With that variety and with that authentication, it makes it quite a valuable little set. So that jumps into also my next point, number 3, which is enhancing the value of your collection. In its raw form like that, probably worth a couple of £100, amazingly. If I get it graded, proof 65, proof 66 carrier, which it will get, with the DEI I to space variety, it will be worth anywhere from £550 to £650, maybe a little bit more, just depends on how badly. I've just seen a DEI I to space variety go for £568, which was raw and not in a very good condition. So authentic preservation, protection, authentication, enhancing the value of your collection. Number 4, and the last, is flipping to make a profit. Yeah. Now, I'm a collector. I'm not a flipper. I don't get my coins graded so I can flip them to make a profit. I grade them for preservation, protection, authentication, and enhancing the value of my collection, because even though I'm a collector, I do have an end game. And my end game is enhancing my collection so that when I sell it, I'm going to get the best value I possibly can. It's as simple as that. But I don't buy coins like this, yeah, the DI to space. I don't buy them raw to get graded and to flip to make a profit. That is not my game. But there are people out there that absolutely do that. And I'm not decrying it. It's, yeah. So tell me what you think. If you have any other reasons for grading coins, or if you haven't begun grading yet and they strike a chord, let me know. So they are the reasons to consider grading a coin. Let me just close this little baby up for you. So here are what you must have to be able to grade, because you do not want to grade coins blindly, and we'll get into that as we move forward further. So you'll see an array of books in front of you. We've got the official American Numismatic Association, that's the grading standards. Now, I use this in conjunction with my Grading British Coins, which is a fabulous little book. It's got loads of pictures, yeah, telling you all the difference. But this is like a British grading standard, so they use the terminology good to extra fine, very fine, etc. The American Numismatic uses what we call the Sheldon scale, and you need to understand that, because the only third-party grading services that are available to us are in America, and they use this to grade these. I know it isn't perfect, but that's the reality of it. You can understand British coins, yeah, by studying this particular book and comparing. There's loads and loads and loads of pictures in there, so you can compare your own coins. Yeah, it'd be worthwhile just getting that and just having a guess what your coin is, and then going in there and grading it and see what you think. But this one here, the American Numismatic Association grading standards, are the standards that all of the grading services utilize. So, good reference material. There's plenty of reference material on online as well. You can grab. You can go into PCGS and NGC and others, and use their photo grade standards, which is exactly what's in here and in here. But they use this. Right, so reference material. A good scale, yeah? You will always need a good scale. Why? To detect counterfeits, and also to detect what I call transition coins. We'll get into this a little bit later, but you need a good scale. So, next thing is a good loop. So I use this loop. It's a ×5. Now, this is what the graders use when they're looking at your coins, and it's a ×5 loop. You don't need anything bigger than that. You don't need anything stronger. A good ×5 loop, yeah, is all you need. If you're looking at varieties and errors, then you might need a stronger loop. Now, this is a triplex, which does away with any distortion on the edges of the coins. A triplex means it's 3 lenses, and this is a ×10. You do not need anything more than a ×10. Anything more than a ×10, you're looking at the coins too closely, and you'll see things that the graders just will not see. So a ×10 for error coins and varieties. A ×5 loop, such as this, for normal grading. You don't need anything. Now, in here, the numismatic guide, there's some great information, and you will need to understand the difference between circulation strike and proof strike. And again, that's an area that we'll get into next week when we do technical grading on proof coins, and the week after technical grading on circulation strikes, because they are completely and utterly different. One of the main things is proof coins are not intended for circulation. They are minted purely and simply for the collector market. Circulation strikes, the term describes, are for coins that circulation, and they will have varying degrees of wear. Yeah. So if we're okay with that so far, give me a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. So when you've looked at the books, you understand the difference between circulation and proof. And we're actually getting into looking at grading. There's 4 main areas, as far as I'm concerned, that you need to take into consideration. The first one is what we call surface preservation. I'll get into this in more depth next week, but essentially, if we're looking at these coins here, I'll zoom in for you. Whoa, right. So we've got 2 areas to look at. The Queen's Head here, this is what we call the device, and then these areas around are what we call fields. And what we're looking at in this preservation is lack of scratches, scuffs, bag marks, dings, etc. So surface preservation. Now, surface preservation, especially on the obverse side, represents, so I'm led to believe, approximately 60% of the grid. Yeah, 60%. So that is the area you really want to be focusing on. And what we will do when we get into technical grading is we'll discuss the surface preservation, we'll talk about bag marks, we'll talk about focal areas, which are absolutely key. So that's number one, surface preservation. The next area, and that's more to do with the technical part of grading. The next three areas, because I mentioned there's four, is strike. And this is what we call market grading, grading for the market. So strike, is it a full strike or is it a weak strike? We'll discuss that. The next one is luster. Yeah? Because the amount of luster a coin has determines the grade that it will receive, especially if it's a proof, if it's a mint state strike, the luster will determine to a high degree the grade. The less luster, so the coin becomes dull, the lower the grade. The higher the luster, so the more reflective the surfaces, etc., the higher grade you'll get. And the last one, which is, again is market orientated, is eye appeal, which is very, very, very subjective. Yeah. So for the four areas of grading, just to recap again, we have surface preservation, strike, luster, and the last one is eye appeal. We're going to discuss all of this in the very near future. Right, so once you've gone through the reasons for considering grading, you've got your reference material, you've studied your reference material, you're starting to understand grading, you've got all of your tools, so you've got a good scale, you've got good loops that you can use in conjunction with your reference material. Then who do we grade through? So there are really only three. There are quite a few, but the main three are considered number one, PCGS. Then the next one, NGC. I use NGC. Yeah, I like NGC. They're my choice. And because I've got many, many, many coins graded through NGC now, everything I send in will go to NGC. And the last one, which a lot of people are starting to use, is ANAX. It's third tier grading, in that it's a lot cheaper than PCGS and NGC. So if you've got coins that you just want to preserve and protect, and you're not really bothered about the value, then ANAX might be a good choice. Okay? In line with the grading services, you need to understand this, the grading standards, which we know and we call the Sheldon scale. The Sheldon scale essentially runs from a 0, if you would, to a 70. 70 being this, proof 70. That's the highest grade possible. So this is an absolute perfect grade coin. And then a poor 3, so they're coins that have hardly any details showing. You can't see the grade. It's very strange because there are collectors out there who have set up registry sets with the grading services and grade coins to have the worst graded coins of a particular denomination. Crazy, yeah? But it's true. They do. So, last but not least, cost. So we've gone through reasons for grading, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. your reference material, the tools that you require. We understand the difference between a circulation strike and a proof strike. We know the 4 areas of grading, yeah? Service preservation strike plus and high appeal. We've decided which one of the third-party grading services we're going to use. And if you need any guidance on how to use the third-party grading services, then just drop me an email or drop me a line and we can discuss it. So the last one is cost. If you're grading purely and simply for preservation and you don't care a damn about the cost, that's it, boom. It's going to cost you about £28-29. That's for shipping, insurance, everything, yeah? To get it graded. Now I'm talking about NGC here because that's who I use. When you start doing things like, I'll just jump on here, variety attribution, yeah? So wrong way around. The DEI ITA space, that's called a variety attribution. So that'll set you back £20. If you notice, the fields are fairly cloudy. That's a haze that not all, but most British coins gather from being sat for decades in these boxes. Yeah, you got a good look there. You can see the haze, especially on the obverse sides. More so, the fields on the reverse here are a lot cleaner. You can see that, more reflective. Yeah. So I'm going to have this coin conserved. So conservation is also going to cost me, I think, around £18. So all in all, I'm probably going to have about £60 into that coin with the variety attribution and also the conservation. But bear in mind that coin could potentially be worth £500 plus. So it is absolutely worthwhile. If you've got a coin that's only going to be worth £60 or £70, there's no point in doing it unless you just want to preserve it. So always take into consideration the cost. Is the grading worth the cost? And the only way you can determine that is by understanding what the selling price is. Yeah? So, right, we've covered an awful lot right now, covered a great deal, and I hope I haven't confused anybody, and I've kind of laid that out in a logical and straightforward manner. If you like what I've had to say, give me a thumbs up. Yeah, smash a like, share, let people know about it. Tell me what you think. More importantly, put in the comments. It helps the algorithm. And Lord knows my algorithm needs help. Right. So that's that. Next week, we're going to be talking about proof, the technical grading of proof coins. So I hope you stay tuned for that. Right. This is Leeds Lad Loves Coins. I have definitely bored you long enough. I hope you enjoyed it. Leeds Loves Coins. Hasta luego.